and I'm in the fiction section, looking at nice books, Pulitzer Prize winners, classics, literary classics, $5, Barnes & Noble. And two guys come up to me, and they're like, hey, they basically tried to get me to join their church. And they were like...
Which church? Just like a church?
The New Protestant Church, I think it's called.
Ooh, new.
So they're rebranding. That's interesting.
You should have joined. That would have been fun. How many people in the church? Could have got like 100 subscribers. You could have branched out. We really could have monetized this thing.
Yeah, 100 subscribers, and then they would have revolted against us after after they listened to one episode. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, sir, do you believe in God?" I'm like, "No." And then the follow-up is always, "Oh, so you believe in science?" And I was like, "No." They were so shook. That never happened to them.
You believe in nothing.
They had this. That's what I basically said. I was like, I basically believe in nothing. But they always have the science backup story. Yeah. To some tests like a neurologist did, and
it's like this wasn't in the script.
No, they did. They had to improvise, and I threw them off.
They should have just bailed. It's like, all right,
just ran away.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. We don't know what to do.
I had an experience, not like this, but very different. But since I see the Burger King now, you know how, the saying is pizza. No matter what, it's still kind of good.
Okay.
I used to think the same about tacos.
Tacos?
But Burger King just released, and I'm a big Burger King fan. I think it's criminally underrated. The chicken sandwich, unbelievable. But I'm like, let me try this taco out. Awful.
I don't know what you're talking about, criminally underrated. I can't believe you still get Burger King.
Oh, it's just because on the way here, there's only a Burger King.
I just like the chicken sandwich. It's a good chicken sandwich. And I'm like, let me get the taco for shits and gigs. Took one bite. The first bite wasn't bad because it was crunchy. They sold me a crunchy taco. The rest of the taco was
Did they do soft?
No, but
it's only crunchy?
No, but it was soft. The shell was soft and it was, ugh.
Can you imagine how bad the soft taco would have been?
Yeah. I ate the whole thing, but it was awful. I didn't enjoy it.
You stumbled into that one, so. I don't know why people still go to Burger King. When there's Sonic, Wendy's.
Sonic?
McDonald's is always...
On the way here, there's literally on the side of the road I'm on, there's a Burger King, and that's the easiest thing to go to. So I usually hit up Burger King. I'm just saying.
That's not an excuse. There's also a Taco Bell.
The Taco Bell is way further out, and
we're
hungry.
getting a Chipotle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's been rumored for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's probably not happening. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I'm Beau Olivar, joined today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and Marissa. And we are here to talk about Comic-Con. A little late to the Comic-Con news, but there's so much of it that we almost had to just take a week to really figure it all out.
Why don't we we have Marissa, who knows everything about comics.
Yeah, we're all stumbling on everything. We're like Shang Chi, who's that? What does he do? He can make more of himself. That's actually cool. But yeah, we brought Marissa here for the Phase 4
So we're talking about Kate Bishop. I'm like, you know who really knows a lot about Kate Bishop? Probably Marissa.
Who live tweeted the trailer announcements.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into all that stuff, and you can listen to us at iTunes at the Nerd Soup Podcast, and on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud, Nerd Soup Podcast, and send us your fan questions at nerdsoupforyou@gmail.com and nerdsoupforyou on Twitter. So yeah, let's get right into it. The MCU Phase 4 timeline revealed by Kevin Feige at Comic-Con. I'd like to go one day.
I just want to see Feige in action. He looked like he was ripping it up. When's the Disney one? Isn't there a Disney convention coming up?
Yeah, X20 Disney something. I don't know.
So we'll probably get more news then, too. Anyway, Feige was just... The crowd is eating at the palm of his hand. It's Freddie Mercury. Like, he was just controlling that crowd. He knew the right beats, what to say. And at the end, he was just flexing on everyone. He's like... Oh, I didn't even mention Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Fantastic Four, Mutants. It's like, wait,
that we
rumors,
can't do
right?
Blade.
Oh, you guys like rumors? Well, I have something here. 2-time Academy Award winner Mahershala Ali put the Blade hat on. It was just, man, that guy, Kevin Feige.
I love how when you just stole all the points that we made from the original podcast and twisted them into your own opening statement. That was brilliant. You were basically Kevin Feige.
I'm the Feige of Nerd Soup.
You're the Feige of Nerd Soup. It was amazing, man. The surprising thing is that it's all 2021. So that's when it ends. So Phase 4 is only going to be, it feels like 3 short years. Because when you have so many different projects in 1 year, that year is going to fly by. Because right now it feels like we're in a drought after Spider-Man. It already feels like that.
There's nothing else this year, right?
It's Black Widow, I think, next May. It's May 2nd, 2020. So, but confirming all of these different movies is wild. And the first one is the Black Widow one. So that cast looks incredible. Rachel Weisz, David Harbour.
Yeah, Florence Pugh. She was just in Midsummer. And Fighting With My Family. She's having a big year. Scarlett Johansson said today, actually, that she wants it to be, like, real and raw, which, if it's, like, an espionage kind of, like, deep spy, like, thriller-type movie, I think this could be pretty entertaining. I don't know if it's probably my most anticipated out of the lineup, but I think it could be a nice addition. I mean, people have been wanting this movie for a while now. She is part of the original Avengers, and now her and Hawkeye are getting their own shine in different ways in this Phase 4, so.
Yeah, I want no supernatural aspects to this movie. I think that would be awesome. Bring in Hawkeye, but just keep it a spy thriller.
I'm interested to see what story they'll do, because obviously current MCU, she's dead. So this is a prequel movie, which they've been saying it's going to be a prequel movie for a while, I think.
But I heard recently that it's going to take place after Civil War.
Really?
I can't believe that, though, because
I think they're going to jump all over the place. Because they
I
are
feel
filming
like
in Budapest,
they're probably going to be about her time in the Red Room, at least what they've established in the MCU. So how she became a super spy, maybe what she was doing there. I do think a Black Widow movie would have maybe hit better, like post Avengers, the first Avengers. Like that,
Maybe,
I feel
yeah.
like that was the opportunity. Like you introduce her in the Avengers movie, and then it's like, oh, Black Widow solo movie, and they didn't do it.
Did you just say hit different? That's what the kids are saying?
Yeah, I was hoping nobody heard that.
No, I processed it after the fact as Marissa kept speaking. I was like, did I just hear that? You know what it is? Black Widow and Hawkeye, I don't necessarily agree that either of them needed movies after Avengers because they're minor characters. They're there to they're like support heroes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on the ground and shoot people.
I think a joint movie between them post Avengers at least would have been good.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do it. And I feel like if they were gonna make a Black Widow movie, they should have taken advantage of like post Avengers.
Well, I'm almost more excited for it now because she is dead, and now we get a smaller story, and that's what Phase 4 looks like they're doing.
Phase 4
team-ups.
definitely seems more low key. Like
Yeah.
all the really big sequels are part of Phase 5, I think. So.
Yeah, because it looks like no Avengers in Phase 4.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they're shortening it up.
Before Endgame happened, there's a story I think in the comics. I haven't actually read this story, but it's after basically the Red Room organization tries to come after her, which I thought post Endgame would have been an interesting take on what she's doing after like an event like this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the people who made her who she was are coming after her now. I think they're trying to get rid of the Black Widow program, which would have been an interesting story to adapt, which is why I'm confused. I just want to know what they're doing.
I guess maybe they could do that in between Civil War and Infinity War.
If that's when the movie takes place, then yeah.
And if they're jumping around, then that makes sense to go back to the Red Room, go to Budapest. Maybe there's a conspiracy.
Not a Budapest fan. I mean, the place is probably great, and the movie, Grand Budapest Hotel. They're always talking, remember Budapest?
You definitely hate Boba Fett, right?
Why?
You're one of those, he doesn't do anything. He just looks cool. Why does everybody love him so much?
No, I'm just
You
saying.
hate when little things get blown out of proportion by a fan base.
Everyone's like, I want to see what happens in Budapest. It's like, I kind of like
Joss Whedon definitely wrote that line at like 4 a.m. He's like, all right, done. I'm done with this
it was
part of the
it was
movie.
100% a throwaway line.
Budapest.
And then it takes on a life of its own.
It's the fandom. They're
Yeah.
like, what happened in Budapest?
Well, let's move on to the next story here. Another TV show announced by Marvel, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, starring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan as Falcon and Winter Soldier. And the interesting thing here is that it's not called Captain America. So
Yeah, do you think they're going to wait until a Captain America movie, if that's even happening?
yeah, I think this is him going to be almost grappling with becoming the mantle, becoming Captain America.
I'm interested in seeing that.
And it's
Yeah.
both of them, too, because they're Steve's closest friends in the MCU. So after him gone, kind of like on his own terms, though, it's not like Tony Stark where he made a sacrifice. It's kind of he lived the life that he wanted. He moved on, and now he's basically saying to Falcon and Bucky, it's your guys' time. Take up the mantle, Sam, and I guess they can grapple with that, like the responsibility and what that entails. And yeah, they're definitely waiting to use Captain America for a movie. Just the title alone is worth $500 million.
Yeah, you can't put that on TV anymore.
Yeah, I'm also into seeing the Winter Soldier be like formidable again, because the last couple movies he's just been there, hasn't been doing much. So for him to be in like the limelight again, I'm excited.
Yeah, and they have great chemistry, those two actors. Baron Zemo's coming back. Daniel Bruhl, German actor, great actor.
Why did I think he was dead?
No, yeah, he's one of the villains that they actually kept alive.
He tried to. I think he was going to kill
He
himself.
tried to kill himself.
Oh
Black
yeah,
Panther
yeah,
stopped
that's
him,
right,
yeah.
that's right.
He's going to be
Same,
wearing like
yeah.
the purple mask and stuff. That's cool, I guess.
I love, too, when comic fans get outraged about if the character's not wearing their outfits. Like, how could they destroy the iconic Baron Zemo?
Well, his character sucked in Civil War.
I liked him.
I liked what he was trying to do, and I read up on him a little bit. Like, he's a mastermind, and he's like, that's his thing, like setting people up against each other or trying to infiltrate certain organizations or whatever. And I guess you could have fun. It could be like post Endgame, him coming back, breaking out of prison, and going to get revenge on basically people who sent him there. And Iron Man's dead, Cap's gone, so it's like, yeah, who else was there? Oh, Bucky was there. Well, fuck his life up.
He might be less strategic this time around. He might be in the mask and, I guess, actually trying to fight these two characters. Because
he's not really a fighter.
Okay. I don't know much about him from the comics.
He has, like, I think he wears the mask because I think he developed, like, an adhesive and it's, like, their strongest bonds. Like, and it's kind of like the vibranium of bonds, I guess.
Okay.
I think it got stuck to his mask. I think it's kind of like a Joker thing where he was fighting Captain America and he fell into this, I guess.
So we're going to see him more manipulating them again.
Yeah.
I mean, in a TV show, it makes more sense for them to go that route, him masterminding something.
Mm-hmm.
They have to build up to a confrontation.
Did you like him in Civil War?
Honestly,
I thought he was one of the better villains.
My Civil War experience is defined by Spider-Man showing up. So,
and you know what's funny? As much as I love him in that movie, I think that's where the movie kind of loses its pacing. Up until the Spider-Man scene, which is a great scene, that movie was just moving at such a crisp pace, and then they're like, and here's Spider-Man.
And I was like, yes.
That's the worst part
to
of a
me
great
specifically.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these are going to be 6 episodes, so there's a lot of story to be told if it's 6-hour-long episodes, so you can flesh out, you can basically use this to set up Sam as Captain America, and it can be used as his kind of own little solo movie or his introduction as this character, so it'll be interesting to see. I hope it's like maybe 6 episodes of Bucky just being like, yeah, why the fuck he pick you? He's like really upset.
Just grumpy the entire time.
Like at first he was cool with it, but like little by little, like, that's the whole thing. Like, why is Bucky being a dick all this time? And at the end he finally snaps, should have been me! You ever read the comics? I'm the first one that
Did you see the scene in Winter Soldier where I hold the shield after he throws it to me?
That was called the teaser.
That was the tease, man. He took it over. Well, that's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be weird to see these movie stars on TV, but the world is changing.
Mackie did
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan was in that stand-up show, right? I'm Dying Up Here. Something like that. It's about stand-up in the 70s. Well, let's move on to the next story here. Apparently, Scarlett Johansson is doubling up, playing Shang Chi and the Legend. Oh, no, wait, no, that's a different actor.
What a easy joke. But I respect it.
This casting he's being played by Simon Liu. And Simu Liu. Oh, I read that as Simon.
Is it Simu or Shimu?
Simu? It could be Shimu. Actually, you would know this more than I would.
I don't know about the actor that much. I just know he's in I'm pretty sure a show called Kim's Convenience, which I think that's the show he's on, which is a good show. It's on Netflix.
We didn't bring our Simu Liu expert here.
It's just he had tweeted like I think about a year ago. He was like, "Hey, put me in a Marvel movie."
Yeah,
and
love
then
that. Call your shots. Just
he quoted himself. He was like, "Oh, it happened."
Yeah, it's like Gwendolyn Christie submitting herself for the Emmy. Just got to be your biggest fan.
Didn't Alfie Allen do that too?
Yeah, Alfie Allen. I'm so excited for this movie. I don't know much about Shang-Chi, but I did actually just buy one of his omnibuses, one of his comics, and the 10 Rings, the Mandarin returning. So it's
better
not going
than
to be
he did in
returning.
Was it Iron Man 3, the fake Mandarin?
Yeah,
technically won't be returning.
It's a new Mandarin.
Hope Ben Kingsley's in this somehow.
You'll never see me.
He's just like in the background. Is he still alive? I don't.
He just says that one.
I don't remember anything about Iron Man 3, and rightfully
Iron Man 3 is good.
You like Iron Man 3?
Yeah, I like all the Iron Mans.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr. He's funny, you know.
Yeah, I was reading up on him too, and he's not super powered, right? He's just like fucking awesome.
Just could kick the shit out of
him. He's like the greatest martial artist of all time.
But apparently, he gets a power that he can make duplicates of himself.
Yeah,
they have to give him that power.
Definitely.
Come on. Yeah, just one man. It's like reverse Neo.
Well,
they said a bunch of Mr. Smiths.
I think in the comics, his father is Fu Manchu.
Ooh,
and
he sounds like a problem.
yeah, but
It's a legacy to live up to. But he's bad, right?
Yeah, but I heard the character wasn't well received, and I think I was reading an article that they might use the Mandarin to be his father. That would be an interesting wrinkle, because I think the story in the comics is his father is part of like an organization or whatever, and he sends him out to do a mission, and he finds out someone like stops him and tells him like who his father is, and he's like, oh fuck, he didn't tell me all that.
He's like, yeah, he said this was a non-profit peace organization.
Yeah.
Where we assassinate people who are polluting. I would like to see Donnie Yen play his father. Just like to see Donnie Yen in a Marvel movie. He's got the relationship. He was in Rogue One, so bring him over. That's another.
And he did the fucking badass bottle cap challenge.
Yeah. I mean, he's like the modern day Bruce Lee.
I didn't try that, but I don't think it would end well for me.
Yeah, you would do it with like a beer and just end up falling on your back. It'd be a beer that you don't spin off. It's like you legit need a bottle opener. Yeah. And I'm just going to kick the shit out of this bottle. I'm excited for that, though. I think out of all the movies listed, that's what I'm most excited for, the Shang Chi.
Yeah, that one, that's like February 2021, right?
Yeah, that's 2021. It's got to be.
Ooh, birthday weekend.
I put 2010 on the outline. Not 2010, but a great Valentine's Day movie.
I wonder if it'll do I wonder if it's going to, because they're giving it the Black Panther treatment. Black Panther was also dropped in February.
Right. Well, they kind of have to spread it out at this point.
I mean, yeah, there's so many movies coming out, but I wonder if it'll do numbers.
Aaron thinks it's going to make like $2 billion.
I hope it will.
Because of the Chinese box office, which is interesting to see if they'll come out and support it.
Yeah, if they like the movie.
Well, they talk about that with Milan. There's going to be one movie that gets both box offices, and it's going to be just insane.
Well, let's look at Aquaman. It got $1 billion, and that did very well in the Chinese market.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see too. And what was I going to say? What are the 10 Rings? Is that something?
That's the organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was like one ring to rule them all.
No, it's like he's got his hands and everything, so it's one ring per finger.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's like the puppet master, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I kind of like these smaller movies, like when you introduce a new character. I never really liked, like with Black Panther, as an example, and even Spider-Man, introducing them in like a bigger movie and then having the solo. I kind of like it when you get the solo first and then you get introduced to him.
Yeah, everybody likes that because the origin story is always fun to watch.
Yeah, especially because like this phase is so low key. So like if you're gonna drop an origin story, this would be the time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got an original. I don't think there are any others in Phase 4. But the next is WandaVision, television show going to be on Disney+.
What is that going to be about?
Another thing that looks like it's going to take place after Civil War. Not a great title.
Well, it's
WandaVision.
It's going to be directly tied into...
It's reminding me of a Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, Wanda Cosmo.
They say it's going to be tied into Doctor Strange too, and that's interesting because Vision's a robot. You could theoretically bring him back.
And Wanda also...
Let's put him in the Geek Squad.
Doctor Strange
Bring him to Apple.
Yeah.
This corpse, this gray, disgusting corpse.
It's like, oh, it's only a little problem, but the way it's designed, we have to take apart everything, so it's going to be like 2,000.
Did you try turning him off?
I was going to say 2,000, but I figured Vision might be a little bit more expensive than my Mac.
I mean, if WandaVision is tying into Doctor Strange too, and we already know Doctor Strange is dealing with the multiverse, and in the comics, Wanda's powers have to do with like warping reality.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to do something to bring Vision back, and it has to
Good point, yeah.
Maybe changes reality. I don't know necessarily what the consequences are. Is Doctor Strange coming out before the show?
I think.
Right
in
after.
the timeline, it's after.
Apparently, the show leads right into the movie.
Okay, so I think she has to do something about Vision.
My thing is, too...
They're going back and forth here, right? It looks like TV, movie.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be one movie in a year. That's interesting. They're going movie and then TV. That TV's the event.
Well, no.
Is Shang-Chi in 2020 or 2021?
2021.
Right. So 2020 only has Black Widow and the Falcon show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they're going movie, TV each year.
And all these dates can be moved up and depending on...
Yeah, they could be moved around.
But my thing is, too, Scarlet Witch and Vision, their characters... There has to be a huge budget for their characters, just like their powers and stuff. That probably takes a lot. And who the hell are they going to be fighting? These are two of the most powerful characters in the MCU.
I think...
How is it? If it can't be some fucking world-ending threat on a TV show, budgetary reasons, and you need more characters if that were to happen. So
I think they should take influence from the Tom King Vision comic.
That's a great comic.
Replace the robot wife with Wanda, and then Vision makes them kids. That could be really weird. I don't think they will do that, but if they took elements of that story, so they're not fighting anybody, but they're learning how to be human, because Wanda's got some of that too, where she's an outcast. She's obviously from a different country.
That's why they get together in the first place.
Exactly.
They feel like kindred spirits.
So it can be even weirder with Wanda, because obviously she's a person and he is a robot, but both of them trying to find their humanity and struggling with it in different ways. You know, the existential crisis of Vision being a robot, and then Wanda just being a weirdo.
Which, do you think this takes place before he dies, and then...
I think it might take place after.
So
it could flash, maybe.
When does she bring him back?
Dealing with the grief.
Or maybe it's her like trying to bring him back.
Right, in first episode. Like we said, he takes him to Apple. Turn it off, turn it on.
Well, this obviously...
Go to Wakanda.
Wakanda seems to be be Apple of the
Wakanda
MCU.
Geek Squad.
That's the Geek Squad, yeah. Shuri.
Well, he's probably still... I don't know what they did after Infinity War, but his corpse is still there.
Drive, yeah.
Maybe they took him in to Wakanda and they're like trying to work on him and stuff. But this
he is right there in Wakanda.
This does tie into Doctor Strange, and maybe the multiverse can introduce so many different things. They tease it in Spider-Man and in the trailer, and then there are obviously implications of mutants, right? Maybe they can use the multiverse to introduce mutants, Fantastic Four, but also the thing with Magneto too, that being her father.
But is that's not her father in the MCU?
No.
Yeah, I think they'll just change that.
Yeah.
I think that's an easy change. They don't really lean into it much in the Fox universe.
Well, it's
only a what's his name?
Quicksilver more they play into with the Fox. And even too, I was thinking too, Magneto with the whole, isn't his like character based on like Nazi Germany and his family in the Holocaust?
Mm-hmm.
So the further we move away from that, that's kind of how do you...
I like that. I like when they give new origins to their characters. Maybe they can change where he's from, kind of mimic that event at a different point in history that's more modern.
Well, that's just like that has nothing to do with this right now, but I was just the multiverse and all this stuff. But
well, it's so long ago. They tried to do that in the Fox universe, and that's why their timeline is so screwed up. I appreciate it, but they don't stay in that time period. They kept going forward.
I think eventually, in the comics at least, they can adopt more of like a rolling timeline. They could just be like, this is what happened, and the dates are more or less, you don't need to care that much about them.
I also don't want to see something changes with the reality and then mutants just appear. I want them to just, they were always there kind of thing.
It could be Fallout of Endgame. Like, mutants appear then.
Like the radiation from the snap kind of kickstarted the mutation, kind of like Deadpool.
Right, but then you also remove so much of, like, Apocalypse, then what's he? I guess. I think they'll be a bit more forward-thinking because the mutants go back into history.
Yeah.
So, maybe. We'll see how it plays out. But apparently Doctor Strange is going to be a horror movie.
That's interesting. They also said New Mutants is going to be a horror movie whenever that one's coming out, if ever.
I saw that trailer in theaters and it never happened. That's ridiculous.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
It usually never happens.
Looked over, like, wow, that looks pretty good.
Yeah. That's in a vault somewhere.
The Disney vault.
The Disney vault.
Maisie Williams was supposed to be in that too, or she is in it.
And Jonathan from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Good cast.
Yeah. The trailer looked good. It's a shame.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness. Hell of a title.
It's a good title. It's definitely, that's something you'd see on a comic book.
So more of a horror movie too, and I think Benedict Cumberbatch came out and said they're still going to be, they're going to have some fun with it too, but at its core, it might be some horror elements and themes to the movie.
I'm interested to see the MCU maybe breaking a little bit from its mold, because all the movies, like, they do well because more or less they're the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're
that's the formula.
If they're going a more horror route, I'm interested to see how they do it.
I'm waiting for them to really, because they always say, "Oh, Ant-Man's a heist movie."
It's not a heist movie.
Oh, Guardians is a comedy. They're all comedies. Even
Iron Man is technically a heist movie.
I think the one that most strayed away from the formula was Infinity War. Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and Guardians. Because Guardians was so extra with the comedy. Winter Soldier is not a comedy at all. That's a spy thriller. And Infinity War is like an epic, where you had elements of everything that they've done throughout the universe. But more or less, all the other films are lighthearted action comedies. But with something like Doctor Strange 2, you'd think that it could get insane.
I was watching Doctor Strange the other day. It was on TV. Shout out to cable. And it's good. I don't love it, but
it's one of my least favorite.
It's still, I think it's mid-tier, but the character itself, just from his from then into Infinity War,
That's
became
the
one of
Doctor
my
Strange
favorite
movie.
characters. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how everyone suddenly loved Doctor Strange after Infinity War?
I literally muted Doctor Strange on my TV and YouTubed Infinity War Doctor Strange. When he goes,
So good.
you'll find our will equal to yours.
He's always cocking his fist like Henry Cavill. Hour? Yeah.
Wait a minute. I've been had.
It's the Justice League. No. I guess this means Sherlock 4 is never happening, but
Well, Sherlock 3, Robert Downey Jr. is happening.
that is happening.
Yeah.
Now we need that's what the multiverse is going to open up. The different Sherlocks.
Nightmare is the villain, and Mordo, right? That's his name? Chiwetel Ejiofor's character.
Yeah, I
from the
wonder if
first
he'll
one.
be in it.
Oh
Sure. 'Cause
yeah,
they
I
teased him
forgot
as the
that.
villain at the end, right?
I forgot about that. I haven't seen Doctor Strange in a long time.
You know, he's very, he's a big rule guy. He's like, you can't go back in time, Doctor Strange, even though you just saved the entire world. That's not part of the rules.
He's like, I'm going to have to kill everybody like you now.
Yeah, and now he's going to the multiverse. I'm sure there's a rule about that. So he might be chasing him through the multiverse.
Mordo
Nightmare.
just has a stick up his bum, man. He just needs to lighten up.
Yeah, be like Wong. Wong was like, fuck it.
Wong rolls with it.
Yeah.
Wrong is disciplined, but leniency.
My
when
favorite
you need it.
memes were Wong, and the caption was like, "Who's all gonna be there?" Like, this guy really dipped in Infinity War.
Oh, he was like, yo, good luck with that. Text me when you're done, Bruce.
I gotta go protect the thing. Over,
Yeah, there's the thing,
Yeah.
the portal's unprotected.
You already got a sorcerer. You don't need two.
He's got this.
Yeah.
He was knocked out, and they kidnapped him. All right, the next show here, Loki. Loki Spring 2021, also on Disney+. Tom Hiddleston coming to television or a streaming service. That's insane.
He was on that FX show. Oh no, AMC.
Was he? Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, they got canceled though, so tough break for him.
Is that before he became famous or the...
That's after Avengers.
Yeah, wow. Look at that.
But I mean, Marvel's dishing out. You're getting all the stars to do this, and it's probably a limited series. And we've seen in TV a limited series: Amy Adams, Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, Matthew McConaughey, to name a few. Actors will come to TV, especially if it's a good script and it's a limited series. That's not too surprising.
Yeah, I think I'm least excited for this. I don't care
Yeah.
what Loki was doing after Avengers.
It could be fun to watch. I'm not, like, once it drops, there's no guarantee that I'll actually watch it.
Well, he has the Infinity Stone, right? So
Yeah, he's got the Space Stone, so...
Mhm.
This is for Tumblr. They should just stream this on Tumblr. It's not even
Loki is loved by Tumblr.
Loki is beloved by the Tumblr community.
Is it confirmed that it's the alternate timeline?
I think that's the rumor, right?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the
that
rumor
makes the
going
most
around.
sense if they're going the TV show route.
Yeah,
because
because he could do
otherwise,
anything.
like, he's dead.
Is he?
Who
He
knows?
might be the Hulk.
Very dead.
I think, yeah, you have to do that because then you have the freedom to do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about messing up the continuity. If you're in an alternate timeline, Loki can go back to Roman time and, hey, we should stab Caesar. You know, causing Yoko Ono, John Lennon. That's a Family Guy joke. You know, just all kinds of mischief.
Like, oh, this Hitler guy, he was really, we should really support him. But it's Taika Waititi's and it's a connection to Jojo Rabbit.
Holy
Now I'm connecting
crap.
universes here.
I was going to say, that got really dark.
Jojo Rabbit, under Disney now.
What?
Yeah.
Was that a Fox movie?
Yeah.
That's interesting. The posters for that movie are just... they're making sure you know what this is. It's an anti-hate satire.
It's like, please, we're not trying to.
We're not saying Hitler was good.
No. That does look funny, though. I love Taika Waititi. And we'll
He's
talk
the
about
best.
him a little bit later, too. It's kind of like, I guess it ties into our next up on the timeline is What If, and this Loki series is kind of like a What If.
Yeah, and it's going to be animated. Jeffrey Wright is going to be the narrator. He's going to be the Watcher. I thought we were going to see a Watcher in Endgame just randomly pop up.
They're watching it.
That's the creep
4K.
in the
It's like,
Infinity
yo,
War.
check this shit out. Stan Lee's a Watcher, technically, right?
Yeah. Well, he reports to them.
Okay.
He works with them. He's an intern. I love that in the Infinity Gauntlet comic where the Watcher randomly just appears behind Thanos, and Thanos is like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just recording this." He's like, really, you know, the big head
pretend
sitting
like
on the
I'm not
floating
here.
chair. Yeah. Just go on with what you're doing. We don't interfere. We just watch.
It's a documentary now. They get Thanos.
It's a 30 for 30. Yeah.
It's like, you know, people always think I'm a bad guy, but I mean, you gotta see Titan. You know, it was pretty bad.
It was
I'm
a
just
mess.
trying to help.
It was an absolute mess.
Go to Iron Man. It's like, look, I'm sure he's a good guy, but I can't just let him run up and destroy half the universe.
No, I couldn't. And it is called What If, so.
Which is its own like comic series.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's going right now, but it has. It's been around since like the 70s.
It's like Elseworlds.
Well, the one they always say, it's like, oh, what if Peggy Carter, like Feige said it, like, oh, like we'll do stories like what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum. So that's definitely one that we're going to see. And
I'm interested. It's
She wouldn't
animated.
be Captain America, though. Isn't she from...
I don't know. I think she has
Britain?
dual citizenship.
Oh, okay. Captain Britain. There already is a Captain Britain. I don't know.
Yeah, there's another.
Thinking too much about this
And
animated
Steve
series.
just stays that skinny kid, huh?
Yeah.
He gets polio.
That's a yeah. What if Captain America got polio? That's what you get, Cap.
Get real dark.
I bet he didn't have autism though.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
What if Captain America was an anti-vaxxer?
You know, Cap's parents are definitely.
What if Disney owned DC?
Now that's something I'd like to see. That's a timeline I'd like to live in.
But they're getting all the actors back, so if there's an Iron Man-centric, what if Robert Downey Jr. will return as Iron Man?
Ooh, that'd be great, man. That's I love that they're doing this because it's not part of the continuity, but if you get those voice actors, you can make a great animated adaptation of some of the comics that we would never see play out.
Yeah, there are a lot of really weird ones that
Especially for Iron Man. There's the comic what is it called where it's about his alcoholism. And they
I
don't play
forget.
into that much in the MCU, but that's a really deep, dark, personal story. Something like that. If they can do Riri Williams animated. But I think that's a character they'll bring to the big screen eventually. Mm-hmm. Iron Man mantle, nobody's talking about that. Somebody's got to be the next Iron Man, right?
And I hope it's
Spider-Man.
not Spider-Man.
No, I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man.
No, Spider-Man's got his own problems right now.
Yeah.
I'm still worried about him.
Oh, that boy's about to get clapped by Craven. His ass is on the run. But you would think somebody has to take up that mantle, right? You just don't leave.
Next
There's got to
post-credit
be
scene.
Iron Man 4.
Next post-credit scene, it's Happy finding all the suits.
Oh, God. That would actually be hilarious. A happy shaped suit. But this next show, I know this is exciting for you, Marissa.
I'm very excited.
Hawkeye TV show with your girl,
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
Which, okay, as far as
give us the rundown.
as they've
created
established Kate Bishop,
Yeah.
I forget who created her. She debuted in Young Avengers 2005.
Okay. What issue was that?
Number 1.
I'm just messing with you. No, just give us the brief rundown.
Well, Kate Bishop specifically, she started. There's a storyline. I think it's a House of M. Hawkeye's presumed dead, and I think he is dead, and then he comes back. Scarlet Witch goes crazy, and she's like, no more mutants, and then like half the mutant population, or 90% of it, loses their powers. And there's this
That's mean. Yeah. You get to decide? Okay.
which is like they've
Magneto
really
is-
they've scaled down her powers a ton in the
No, he
MCU.
probably kept his powers.
I think he
She
did.
said 90%, yeah. It's like, I got you, Dad.
All the really important ones kept their powers.
Yeah. It's like, Professor X.
But yeah, so Hawkeye's dead, and then the Young Avengers show up, and it's a bunch of teenagers who they originally mimic other Avengers, and Kate Bishop is one of them. And she's the one who ends up, I think Captain America gives her Hawkeye's old bow because they still think he's dead. And eventually she and Hawkeye just team up, and they're both called Hawkeye. And the Matt Fraction run is like the most iconic Hawkeye run. And that's where they really sort of establish their relationship and stuff. And I'm really excited for it. But the thing is, Hawkeye in the MCU is
Has a
not the
family.
same Hawkeye. Yeah, he's very much based off Ultimate Comics. He's very much based off of Ultimate Comics Hawkeye.
Picture Hawkeye coming back after like a 3-week vacation. It's like, you're already giving away my fucking shit, Cap?
This is yours. He would have wanted you to have it.
It's like, I told you guys don't want to open your emails? I said I was going to be gone. I'm taking my vacation days. It's like, what's the point of having them if I don't use them?
He did straight up take a vacation at the end of Ultron. He's like, yeah, I'm retired. That's awesome. It would have been interesting if they kept his family dead. And then it's because you can kind of play into that he's a mess.
MCU Hawkeye, yeah. Like, I mean,
Kate Bishop humanizes him
Doesn't he
again.
say his daughter and calls her Hawkeye after she Bullseye in Endgame?
which her name's not Kate, right? It's not.
I don't know. I
Because
don't
when
think
that
they
scene
say her
happened,
name.
I couldn't remember if they said her name or not, but I don't think her name is Kate. I think, is
Kate
it
Bishop Barton.
Is it
Doesn't
Cassie?
sound right.
I mean, what I really like about their comic book relationship is that they're not father and daughter, and that Hawkeye is a mess. So, like, she, like, helps balance him out, but she's also, like, sort of idolizes him a bit.
Yeah, that's always an interesting relationship. It's like Terry McGinnis and Batman. You know, when you have the old Hawkeye's not that old, but I always like those team ups.
the logo is very much based off specifically the Matt Fraction art.
Yeah.
Some of these logos stink.
The Loki one is
Loki,
bad,
this one.
yeah.
I don't like the Hawkeye one either.
I like the Hawkeye
I like the
one.
Hawkeye
yeah.
one.
I just don't like the
I
Loki
have
one.
a shirt with a similar logo.
The Blade logo is good. Marvel stinks at posters, logos, and posters and logos. When it comes to posters and logos, DC, woo,
Yeah.
they do their fucking logos middle of the movie. Like, you want to see Flash? Look at this fucking logo Lex Luthor made. Their posters are always so much better. The posters, the Spider-Man Far From Home is that's the rock bottom
That was
for Marvel
awful.
posters.
When I saw those, I thought it was a joke.
Just let Boss Logic do it.
Yo,
Boss
that guy
Logic
is so fucking sick.
He whips up posters within minutes. Just let him do all the posters, because your posters are terrible.
He'll pick the most random actor and be like, "What if this actor was this superhero?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that fucking
Yeah,
works."
that works. Daniel Radcliffe as Superman? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it. Zombieland 2 trailer. I don't know why it made me think of Daniel Radcliffe, but Jesse Eisenberg. They're like the same, you know? Jesse Eisenberg is our American Daniel Radcliffe.
Looks like, but actually good at acting.
You don't think Radcliffe is good?
Eh.
Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
No, probably should before I make judgments. Though Swiss Army Man. That's really should have got an Oscar nom.
Now, see, you're talking like people who have seen Swiss Army Man.
No.
Now all you need to do is see it.
Well, got me there.
Well, let's move on. Yeah, Thor, Love and Thunder. Jane Foster, Natalie Portman coming back to play Thor. This was the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shook when I
think
saw
you texted me this, and I was like, what?
I was like, Natalie? Hello?
Well,
Is she a good actor?
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
I feel like she's always kind of cold.
See, Daniel Radcliffe,
What?
I could say that about. You don't come up with Natalie Portman on this podcast.
I can't see her as Thor.
Well, I mean, the Jane Foster character from the first two movies wasn't that great. She really didn't have much to do. So now she's in a bigger role. New writer, Taika Waititi, and his direction, he can add a different element to it. My introduction to this character, because I never even knew that she ever became Thor, was it was like a phone game, Marvel Contest of Champions, and you can unlock like new characters and stuff. And I got a Thor Jane Foster. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah. What's the comic? The Mighty Thor. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Mighty Thor.
Do you know how that happened? My nephew was trying to explain it to me.
Her becoming Thor?
Yeah.
I forget the exact circumstances, but for a reason, which, again, in the MCU, this will have to be different, but Thor loses his hammer. Like, he loses the ability to wield his hammer.
They already did that.
They did that in the first
And
movie.
now he doesn't need the hammer.
Yeah.
So
Where is the hammer? Cap just fucking took it with him. It's like, oh, you don't return the hammer? I brought the shield back.
I think he returned the hammer to the point in time.
Yeah.
Right.
Had to
So the hammer
reset
never
the
left.
timelines.
Right.
Yeah. So he has the axe, right? Is that what that was?
Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker. Yeah. So he doesn't, in the MCU, he doesn't need to be able to wield something like that. But in the comics, Thor loses that ability, and I think for a while, no one knows who the new Thor is. And eventually, it's revealed that it's Jane Foster, who is currently suffering from cancer. And I don't know where she's at right now. I don't know what's going on. But I know that the circumstances where she's able to wield the hammer and looks like Thor, like the hammer gives her those abilities, which they establish is not necessarily the case in the MCU, because Cap didn't turn into Thor when he picked up the hammer.
That would have been cool. Well, Vision picked it up too, and nothing happened. But he was able to summon the lightning. But how is she?
Like, Jane looks like Thor.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if this is a dumb question or not, but how is she the new Thor? Like, Thor's name is Thor.
They just called her Thor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're like, you're Thor.
So it's like Dick Grayson dresses as Batman. It's like, oh, that must be Batman.
Right. And you would think Thor is kind of his birth name.
Yeah.
But now it's becoming more of a mantle.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, she's Thor.
And this happens
because, like,
before
Falcon
Guardians.
is not Steve Rogers. He's just Captain America. Oh, I guess Thor doesn't have like a cool name. It's just his name.
Yeah, Captain America is a code name. A stupid one. That's Captain America. He insists that we call him that.
Well, we needed to,
somebody
rile up
yeah,
the patriotism during the war.
Just can't
World
be
War
Captain
II. We
Steve.
needed people to, rally around the troops.
Captain Steve is not making much of a dent to get young men
I'd
and
buy a
women.
T-shirt.
Captain Steve?
Captain Steve, yeah.
Just reminds me of Blue's Clues. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Steve with the super serum.
Yeah, we talked about it last podcast. Taika Waititi returning to direct and write, which, I mean...
This guy is one of the best filmmakers out there today.
Yeah.
Comedy, I love his sensibilities.
Well, he didn't write Ragnarok.
Jojo Rabbit looks great.
But
no,
it's very much.
But they say that the script wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like 90% improv.
I would like it to be more adventure driven, kind of like Hunt for the Wilder People, kind of something like that. More relationship and
Hunt for the Wilder People in space. Imagine that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Like, obviously it's Thor, and you have Jane Foster as Thor, and Thor as Thor.
Thor as Thor. They should put that in the credits.
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna be getting into some fucking.
But what's happening with the Guardians?
This one is coming before Guardians 3, right?
Right.
Like, is it taking place chronologically? It has to, right?
Yeah.
Somebody was suggested the idea. I don't think this is a rumor that maybe they'll split them up. So something happens with the Guardians. Thor goes off on his own with Rocket and Groot. So Rocket and Groot are co-stars in this Taika Waititi space movie. That would be. Imagine what Taika would be able to do with Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
With his comedy, I feel like that fits so well.
Then you'll have Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax going to find Gamora.
Yeah, that's Guardians 3. And eventually Rocket and them get back with them, maybe?
Well,
because you want Rocket with the Guardians, but they have such great chemistry.
Well, and I say Valkyrie will return in this, but he went off to space with the Guardians. She just like hop on her Pegasus and fly over there?
Yeah, they can get together real quick.
Just want to know what the catalyst for that is.
Pegasus, yeah.
And hopefully Korg and Meek show up, because you have to have Korg.
Korg's gonna be yeah. This might Thor Ragnarok keeps rising on my list.
Well, I could see Taika Waititi doing something where she's like, all right, guys, we're gonna go. We need to help Thor or something. Well, also Jane Foster too. She's on Earth too, so maybe they kind of link up and find him.
Maybe that's how he comes back, because he finds out that she has cancer. If they use that,
okay.
And then Rocket's like, "Oh, I'll go back to Earth."
Well, because like Korg, like kind of just the whole time they just cut to him. He's playing Fortnite. It's like, yeah, I'll be there. He just misses it. He keeps playing. It's like, oh fuck.
That's
today?
Gonna be a recurring joke.
And at the end, he comes back and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. Taika Waititi coming back, and we have other news too: Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, Captain Marvel 2, Fantastic Four, Mutants. Mahershala Ali cast as Blade. These are all stories that were straight from Feige's mouth. Mm-hmm. These are happening.
Phase 5, presumably.
Yeah.
Which
Fantastic Four.
This is a stacked Phase 5.
Yeah, Phase 5.
Just from the sequels.
Yeah. Yeah, none of these are surprising. Black Panther and Captain America both made. Fucking Black Panther made a shit ton of money, but Captain Marvel made over $1 billion too. They were definitely getting sequels. Guardians, fan favorite.
This is what I love too. Black Panther came out. It was such a phenomenon. $1.3 billion. They're not rushing it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be what? 4 years after the original? 2017 was Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
2018.
Oh, yeah. Early 2018.
So they're not rushing it. They're waiting. It's going to be 4 or 5 years before the sequel comes out because they have other story to tell. And that's brilliant. You would have to think Black Panther pops up in Phase 4, right?
I feel like at least a cameo.
WandaVision, maybe. They have to get Vision from Wakanda.
Captain Marvel, you think she's got to pop up here?
Maybe in Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
If they're in space.
Yeah, they might run into each other.
But Blade, you think it's going to be PG-13 or R?
I hope. Well, yeah, or I hope so. If it's more grittier, fucking him just beating the brakes off fucking vampires.
How much do you know about Blade, Marissa?
I've seen the movies, but I can't remember anything.
What about the comics? Do you know anything about Blade in the comics?
I just know he fights vampires, which introducing vampires into the MCU, wild.
Weird, yeah.
It sounds wild, but given all that we've gotten, it shouldn't seem wild, but it still is weird. Because like Dracula, he fights Dracula. I know that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my dude, Dracula.
That's your dude?
Yeah.
But the vampire's always been
That's
a threat.
a great book.
And
I just bought it.
No one's been dealing with it besides Blade this whole time. And like, what have you been doing? We've been fighting Thanos, and you've just been off. Do you know what vampires are?
There's a meme.
Like, yeah, they don't exist. Yeah, they do. I've been protecting all of you.
There's a meme where it's like an Avengers meetup, and Cap is like, "Hey, so what's going on?" And Blade's like, "Can you guys please help me fight the vampires?"
And Captain America's like, "All right, then call it a day. No more news."
Which I feel like if they're introducing vampires, mutants, no big deal.
Right, but my question is, I hear that Blade is not rated R in the comics.
I haven't read any of his comics.
That's what I'm hearing. That rated R Blade was more of a decision by the filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
That's Del Toro, right? Blade 2, I think, was Del Toro.
I'm not too sure. I haven't seen those movies in a while, but yeah, Mahershala Ali, great actor as we know, and him just calling up Feige saying, "Hey, let me be Blade," and they're like, "Well, aren't you Cottonmouth?" It's like, they all laugh because they realize that we don't care about Netflix.
They both pause and then laugh.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, the Netflix, I guess it's just not continuity.
It's been that way for a while.
It seems like they were playing with the idea of putting them in the movies.
If they ever do, you can always play it off alternate timeline. Maybe the Loki universe, because they did experience the Avengers 1 attack on New York, so maybe it could be that timeline.
I do wish,
I doubt it.
At least Daredevil got in there somehow.
Well, he needs to be with Spider-Man.
They're boys.
Well, I was saying on another podcast, or just talking in conversation, that Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, those aren't characters you make movies about. Luke Cage maybe, but Jessica Jones is such a street character, and so is Iron Fist. They're made for television, and let's be honest, Jessica Jones season 1 is great. Daredevil season 1 through 3 is great, but the rest of the shows it's not up to
Daredevil
the same standard.
season 2 is only good for the first half.
Right. I haven't seen Punisher.
Flops.
Did you see Punisher?
I watched the first season of Punisher. I thought it was okay. I haven't seen the second season. Haven't seen the most recent of Jessica Jones, and I've never watched Iron Fist. Defenders was lukewarm.
I like Defenders.
13 episodes. I like this. Marvel's doing 6 episodes for this series.
Too much.
They did 13, and by like episode 7, I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Daredevil season 3 was the peak.
Yeah.
How good was Daredevil season 3?
It was so good.
Yeah, Bullseye, Kingpin.
That when they announced almost immediately after that aired that they were just canceling it, I was actually sad.
See, you can still bring those characters back. I guess with Ali, it doesn't really matter with the Cottonmouth casting. They could just be like, listen, it's 2 different people.
Well, another one, they reference President Obama in Luke Cage, I believe, and in Marvel MCU, there's a different president, the fictional one. So
right,
they've always been separate entities, but were loosely connected. And they didn't even fucking say anybody's name. Like, oh, the big green guy. Just say Hulk. I saw the Marvel logo before the show. I know what universe you guys are in.
It's exciting news, though.
Yeah.
Marvel gearing up for Phase 4, Phase 5. I think this thing is just going to go on for the next 30 years. You just keep making movies, and when does the continuity stop?
Never. I need them to bring in Miles Morales and have him, or give him, his due diligence. And then they can end it. I don't care about after that.
Well, Far From Home is the first Spider-Man to make $1 billion, and Into the Spider-Verse is the lowest, has the lowest box office numbers of every Spider-Man film.
Well,
and it's probably the best one. I know, but animation as well. Toy Story is gonna get $1 billion again.
Different scales, though.
Yeah, true. That's just upsetting.
With Into the Spider-Verse and Toy Story. Yeah.
Yeah.
New type of animation, not Pixar.
Yeah.
So you don't have it is
I've
upsetting.
definitely watched Spider-Verse at least 15 times since it was on Netflix.
I'm interested to see how the sequel does. If the sequel can get a big number.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. You know it's going to happen because that's still Sony, right? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the showrunners, the directors themselves said that they had like a ton of ideas that they didn't get to put into the first movie. And there's like a ton of material they can use. Just they have a multiverse. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they literally can. That's awesome. I can't wait for that. And we have some other news trailers. We'll go by them quickly, and we'll talk a little bit about the last 2. But Won't You Be My Neighbor? Tom Hanks.
Good trailer, man.
Yeah.
Don't care that he doesn't look like Mr. Rogers. It's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you make Mr. Rogers better? He's Tom Hanks.
Not really too familiar with Mr. Rogers, but he's been having like a good couple of years.
Mirza, who created Mr. Rogers? What issue did he debut in the timeline
he's
of
dead,
life?
right? He just died?
Is dead, yes.
Yeah, they had the documentary, though, and now this movie.
Yeah, the documentary was, the guy was, that's the thing, I'm obsessed with finding his dark side. Like, what did he do? You can't find it with him.
Well, no.
Everything you look up is that.
There's a rumor that he wears long sleeves because he has tattoos of every confirmed kill he got.
That would make him almost fucking better. He's like, yeah, I know what I did, but I'm not proud of it.
You watch Saving Private Ryan into this, and that's like kind of the prequel.
Wow, holy shit.
That was the best.
Mr. Rogers is basically a Killmonger. He's been training his whole life to make a perfect kids television show.
So, yeah.
I've never watched that show. When I was a kid or anything.
Me neither. I
don't know when it was like airing, really.
I was more familiar with the Eddie Murphy SNL skit. It was like Mr. Rogers, but in the hood. And it's just Eddie Murphy.
The Witcher got a trailer.
The Witcher trailer, yeah, we didn't talk about that. That looks good. And everybody, of course, is saying, oh, is this the next Game of Thrones? No, it's not, because they're different things. I was recently looking for the books because it's going to be based more on the books. So just judging it from somebody who's played the video game, Cavill looks great as Geralt. And I was kind of, because he doesn't look exactly like the characters described, but he's such an overwhelming presence on screen with the white hair, the muscles that he somehow requires, and the swords. Well, one sword. He looks great. And at times, the trailer, it looks like a TV budget, but I think he looks good enough. When you're invested in the show, you kind of suspend your disbelief.
Well, this is like high fantasy, right?
Yeah, it's very much high fantasy. And at the very end, when he has the Witcher eyes and he's going to fight the monster, that's what the Witcher is.
What's the Witcher? That's like his game breaker?
When he gets full Witcher eyes? Yeah, it's like when the Siths get the yellow eyes.
Okay.
That's when it's their ultimate smash.
Okay.
So I thought it looked really good. And is it going to be the next Game of Thrones? Stop saying that forever. It was the same thing with Lord of the Rings. What's the next Lord of the Rings? Nothing was, because fantasy is so unique.
It happens
in each
on
of
its
their
own.
stories.
It's going to happen, and no one's going to be expecting it. The next huge, culturally just massive type television show. Yeah, and Zombieland 2 coming back.
Oh, that looks so good.
The first one is so fucking good.
It is.
In the White House. That's the first thing I would do. I would go to like all these like cool places I would never be able to go to in real life. Just, yeah.
And the new additions,
president now.
Rosario Dawson, Luke Wilson, and Tom, what's his name?
Middleditch?
Yeah, something like that. Silicon Valley guy.
Yeah, Thomas Middleditch.
That was great at the end when he comes out and it's like, wait a minute, it's like the Seinfeld episode where they meet themselves. It's us. But that cast is so good, and the zombie genre is perfect for comedy.
Yeah, well, like zombies are like fucking huge back in the day, like when this movie came out. But
Zombies and vampires.
Yeah, but this has always like set itself apart.
How has that movie not happened?
What?
Zombies versus vampires. That movie hasn't happened yet, right?
Well, why were the vampires? They wouldn't use their blood, the zombie blood.
Are vampires just a type of zombie?
Zombie
Fuck.
vampires. Well, I guess they kind of are.
They're both undead.
Yeah. True Blood, they would take the dead body and then they would have to bury him with the vampire, and they would
What
come
a
back.
terrible show that was.
Not bad.
True Blood?
Yeah.
I've heard True Blood is really good for a little while.
Yeah. But at the end, towards the end, it got a little crazy. It's like
I heard towards the end it flops.
fairies, and there were.
I might just be
werewolf-
following like one person on Twitter who's like really enthusiastic about True
It's
Blood.
the True Blood writer.
Yeah, because at first it was just like werewolves and vampires, and Sookie, like she could read minds.
Snooki?
Sookie.
Oh, whoa, wait a
But
minute.
then later at the end, she finds out she's a part of a fairy race, and that's why she can read minds, and she has really sweet blood, and that's why the vampires are attracted
You're just
to
spoiling it all over me.
her. Fuck.
You got
You're
spoiler
not gonna
all
watch
over my
True
coat.
Blood. But yeah,
What's
Joe
the other trailer?
Manganiello.
He's in True Blood?
Yeah, Alexander
Yeah, I might check it
Skarsgård.
out. Yeah, it's a good
Like
actor.
fighting over Sookie. That's pretty much it. They just keep.
Sookie.
Is it Suki?
Yeah, it might be Suki, doofus.
I'm the only one that watched the
I've
show.
never seen this show.
You don't even know the characters. Oh, and the final trailer that we have to talk about today, Westworld.
I actually
season
watched
3.
that
Watchmen.
one.
It's a thing they did.
Yeah, Watchmen looks okay. It's like, oh, the Watchmen, remember them? Remember when Ozymandias committed genocide?
This isn't with the actual Watchmen characters that we know, right? It's
But
like
it's in continuity.
it's in continuity, but
Yeah.
not with the characters we know.
No, not from the movie.
Okay.
Well, Rorschach
Well,
got vaporized.
rip.
Yeah. Ozymandias might still be alive. He might be in a jail cell somewhere. Dr. Manhattan has to be alive. He doesn't die.
Who's
So-
Jeremy Irons playing? I don't know, but yeah.
Good
Did
old Ozzy.
Doomsday Clock ever finish?
No, it comes out like once every 7 years.
Will Dr.
They
Manhattan
keep making it longer. Hang Dong?
hang down?
How come I knew that was going to be your question? I'm going to say no.
You know
Oh,
that
it's HBO,
picture of the panel of Dr. Manhattan just like sitting?
Yeah.
I think about that like 3 times a day.
Is he hanging Dong?
He's not. He's just sitting. It's like a landscape and it's just him sitting
That's my
there by
favorite Always
himself.
Sunny bit. So they're trying to go see this new movie called Thunder Gun Express, and it's like built like it's hyped up to be like the best action movie of all time. And like everything they say at the end, it's like ends. I hear the guy hangs dong, and they're trying to get there, and like one of the blocks is closed off to the movie theater, and the police officer is like, "You can't go this way." It's like, "Oh, we're trying to go see Thunder Gun Express." "Oh, I saw it last night. Best movie I've ever seen in my life." The dude hangs dong.
All right, well, speaking about hanging Dong, Westworld Season 3 trailer. Look at that transition there.
There's been a few
That's how you do it,
dongs
kids.
hanging in Westworld.
They do, yeah, they hang. Lee Sizemore.
Yeah.
He's, swinging back and forth.
Yeah.
This trailer looks incredible. And Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan came out and said that this season is going to be less of a guessing game, I think that's good.
Thank God.
I think it's going to be a bit less complex. Stop trying to get ahead of your audience and just give us something that we can both enjoy.
Until the finale when we realize it's like 10 different timelines
Yeah,
going
until
on.
it's the Breaking Bad sequel.
Yeah.
But just the production value of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Looks incredible, man. There are some sequences when Tessa Thompson goes to touch that robot. What is that? What are these robots doing? The robots without any skin?
Oh, yeah. And there was that robot that they were, like, in the real world. Apparently there are robots, just not anywhere near to the level as they are in Westworld.
Yeah,
because they were shooting it.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like how Ford created, like, the next evolutionary step. And it's like, I'm not going to introduce it to the real world. I'm going to make a theme park out of it.
Well, that was his idea.
Yeah, I know. But it's like you could have changed the real world in the same sense, but I guess.
Well, he's more of a maniac.
I know.
He's trying to commit some genocide here.
So, yeah, I mean, I like that it's not going to be a fucking mind fuck, even though they'll probably still put elements in it. And there's Nazi World. Who's that park made for?
Was that Spain?
Probably, maybe?
Because it
Wouldn't it
did look
France?
like Germany.
France?
Was it France?
Germany never occupied Spain. I know they were.
I mean, Spain was
neutral,
fascist for a real long
they were
time.
fascist, but
Do you go and, like, are you a Nazi or are not a Nazi? I feel like either one kind of won't be like a fun experience.
no. I think the Nazis are probably the robots. Like you're there to
Okay.
fight the Nazis, and if they say, "Hey, if you choose the black hat of being a Nazi, they can use that as blackmail," maybe.
Well, that's what they did, right, for in Westworld when they would record everything. So that
Yeah, it
would be a
seems like
good way to get someone in position of power go in there and chose to be a Nazi. They're like, oh,
I'm still kind of holding out here. I don't think they're going to do it, but it was Hack's Dogma who had the theory that Evan Rachel Wood escaped to Future World. And I know you had this whole issue with Future World. Isn't Future World just the real world?
they're in the future. You
Yeah,
see
but
those
it could
fucking
be-
robots? That's future.
It could be a simulation.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But they said
They introduced a simulation. They might. It's going to be a little confusing. It's not going to be
I mean,
Terminator 2.
I've seen the trailer,
Terminator 2 's
and I
fucking
don't really
awesome.
know what's happening.
It is great. Me neither. All right, let's go to fan questions here to round us off. We've got like 4 questions here from the email. This question here from Michaela Smith. Hi, guys. First off, I have to start by saying, Aaron, you are my favorite. You're hilarious, and your laugh makes me laugh. But my question for you guys is, which episode of Game of Thrones do you think is the best and worst after watching Season 8? I would still say the best episode for me is always going to be Hardhome. It's just my favorite episode of the series. And the worst is still Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken, because the things that happened in that episode were unnecessary. There's not like a bad episode in Season 8. It's just consistently mediocre after Episode 3. And that's what made the season so disappointing, because that's the end. So we're not looking for good. We're looking for a send-off. And we kind of didn't get that, but none of those episodes are bad. It's not bad TV.
No, I think Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken is still my least favorite, and my favorite's probably Winds of Winter still.
And Dog?
I can't remember any of the episode names. I think my favorite one. I've never thought about this.
Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken is Ramsay and Sansa.
Oh yeah, that one. I hate that one.
Yeah.
That was watching that incredibly uncomfortable.
Universally accepted as the worst episode of the show.
And I think my favorite.
And then Hardhome is probably your favorite, right?
No.
Oh,
okay.
You're M-Dog now? M-Dog.
I'll be Dubs.
I forgot what I was going to say. What was my favorite episode? I don't think this is my favorite episode, but a moment that I actually really like is in season 7 when the supply train, when she
the loot train attack?
Yeah.
That's a great episode, man.
Yeah, Spoils of War.
Best episode of that season.
Yeah, because that was the first thing that I thought of, honestly. But I haven't watched a lot of the older seasons in a while.
You know what's a great episode, man? Blackwater. Blackwater is my second favorite episode. That is like a masterpiece of television. That's how you do action. All right, this question here from Alexander LaFosta. With Marcus McFeely and the Russos out, what writer-director duo team do you want to take over the next phase of the Marvel movies? Well, I think similar to the movies that they're doing, it looks like it's going to be a collection of different directors and writers, because they very much took a hold of the Avengers story arc. They kind of picked up the torch from Joss Whedon. Civil War is an Avengers movie. Winter Soldier kind of is almost Avengers light.
Well, for the Infinity War and Endgame, they had help from Taika Waititi, James Gunn, Ryan Coogler. It was like a collaborative effort for the different characters, and a lot of those directors, I would assume, are moving into phase 4 and 5. So if the Russos don't do it, I think you get someone that, I don't know, you just need someone that can help bring these characters all together.
Yeah, who does the next Avengers movie?
It's still a collaborative effort, though.
That's going to be interesting.
When do you think the next Avengers movie will be?
2022. I think 2022 or 2023. They usually do the 3-year gap. They gave us the 2 in a row.
Well, You think they're going to do an Avengers movie before all the Phase 5 sequels?
Maybe I think maybe, yeah.
Because most of the Phase 4, for the most part, will be done by the end of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on if that round of sequels for Phase 5, if it happens 2022, 2023, around that time, do you think they're going to throw an Avengers movie in between? Or maybe a team-up movie? Maybe it won't be an Avengers movie per se.
An X-Men movie could do that, right?
I think.
It doesn't look like the Phase 4 movies are setting up a villain either. In the first Avengers, they just kind of brought Loki back to life. They're like, he's a villain. That's the excuse to team up. So they can do something simply like that and introduce a new character in that Avengers 5, I guess that would be.
Do you think they'll handle the X-Men like the Avengers, kind of where, Fox, we just got X-Men. Marvel, we got Captain America, Iron Man, then we got Avengers. You think they'll set up some of the more important standalone characters and have standalone movies before bringing them together?
Maybe if they were going to do that with Wolverine, that would be the interesting one to do because you can go back in time where you can do Wolverine's origins in the 19th century. Mm-hmm. And then he can lead up to, it would be similar to the X-Men 2000, where it was very much Wolverine discovering the X-Men and joining that family. You can redo that, but start it with the solo movie like you like, and then bring in the rest of the X-Men. Magneto movie, they talked about doing that at Fox, and it never manifested.
Really?
Yeah, Magneto was supposed to get a prequel movie after Origins.
No, that's not the shocking part. It never came to fruition?
No.
That's strange.
Yeah, so that started back in the day. But with X-Men, they're very much, that's the family.
Yeah.
It's like
Fantastic Four. That's the family.
That is true. I can't wait for that movie. All right, this question here from Savvy K. On a scale of 1 to Mad Queen Daenerys, how annoyed are you that D&D dropped out of Comic-Con? As much as I would have loved to have seen it, I mean, I couldn't believe that they were actually going to go in the first place.
Yeah, there was no way it was going to go well.
Well, that's what I would have liked to see in a perfect world. Them on stage getting, reasonable, well-crafted questions from people. Hey, this happens.
Teddy's question was the best.
Yeah.
Do you like what you did?
But you did A, B, and C. A lot of people didn't like that. Why? And they said, well, this, that, and the other thing. That's why we thought it was the best decision to go that route. And it could have been a constructive conversation.
No, you watched that for the question of you ruined Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen. It's like, I fucking hate you.
Do you feel bad about ever working?
I mean, when I heard that they were going, I was like, so someone's going to ask them why season 8 sucks.
Yeah, 100%. You know
that's what I was expecting. And then when I heard that they dropped out, I was like, this makes more sense.
I hate awkward situations. Even watching it, I'd have been like, ugh.
Yeah.
Even if I agreed with maybe one of the questions, like, oh yeah, that was a little clarified this. That still would have been odd. You kind of just, you don't want to, even if you don't like the season and you don't like D&D, I guess it could be entertaining, but just
they're never going to sit up there and be like,
fucking
we were tired.
Yeah.
We were done with the show. We wanted to wrap it up. You're never going to get that answer because that's what they're all looking for. We wanted to do Star Wars instead. So
yeah,
you're never going to get that.
It could have been constructive, but I'm kind of glad it didn't happen.
All right. So that's a Nerd Soup podcast.
Really?
Yeah, light on the fan questions here, but...
Oh, because we're going to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sick invite.
Do you want to come?
No, I have to go home.
All right, then.
I'm tired.
That's the Nerd Soup podcast. All of you out there that are also listening and tired, I hope you get untired. And for Aaron and Marissa,
I hope you get untired.
Yeah, you untire yourself. Take a nap.
Drink some coffee.
Coffee's you crash. Does anybody crash after coffee? All the caffeine?
I do.
Yeah.
You should have another cup.
Yeah, I never thought about that. All right, well, I'm off to get another cup of coffee. Thanks for listening, guys, and yeah, see you next week. Hopefully.